What's up, everybody? Patrick from wpbuilderhelper, and in today's video we are talking Gutenberg blocks, and specifically we're going to be talking about Kadence blocks. And that is because I think that Kadence has the most advanced block builder that's on the market currently, and I think that they're doing a lot of things to take and promote that and make it way more viable than probably what it is with all the other Gutenberg builders that are on the market. So in here, we're going to talk about Kadence blocks and why I think it's such a good product and why I think that it's beating all the rest of the block builders that are currently on the market. Plus, we're going to do a little bit of an overview and go through their starter templates and kind of break them down and everything. So if you're ready, let's get started. What's up, everybody? So here we are inside of the Kadence WP, and I want to talk about why I'm so impressed with the Kadence blocks. A lot of people like the theme, and the theme itself in essence is, I think, similar to other themes. It is a bit faster than other themes, but I'm not here to debate any of that. I want to talk about the blocks because, to me, their blocks are where the real strength of this lives. I think that their block builder is better than almost any other block builder that's on the market. Probably one of the only ones that come close, if we're actually taking and we're looking at everything, is probably I'm thinking, if I had to take it, I had to guess Gutenberg blocks. Let's see what we have that's in the repository. If I had to guess, if I could spell Gutenberg right, Gutenberg blocks. If I had to guess which one I would say is close, it's such a hard decision. There's a lot of other block libraries that are out there. Obviously, ThemeIsle has their own blocks. I think this one is pretty popular, but look at the number of reviews. Not that many reviews. Most of these block builders don't have a super amount, with the exception of the Brain Force. Quibbly's got some active installs, but when you look at Quibbly compared to Kadence, Kadence's block builder is pretty brand new, and it's got way more installs than Quibbly. And I'm going to talk about Quibbly because I actually have a subscription to them. Atomic Blocks is nice. It's a nice free collection. Stackable's real nice, but once again, only 30,000 installs. And then there's some other ones. There's Genesis Blocks. There's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's Generate Press has its own blocks. So skipping all of this and just jumping straight in. Let's jump straight in and let me show you what makes Gutenberg so incredibly interesting with Kadence blocks specifically. So Kadence has a really, really nice system with their blocks. So the page, as you can see as we're on it, if someone's starting out with Gutenberg for the first time, what they're looking for that I have yet to find in other block systems that I think needs to be addressed is they're looking for something that is fast, they're looking for something that's efficient, and they're looking for something that basically mimics that of a page builder. And Kadence, to me, is the closest one to that. And the reason why is because they have a lot of similar features to page builders. And as a matter of fact, some of the things I've actually emailed and wrote posts to the actual developers, and some of the things that I think that they need to fix, they're already working on. So that's the good news. The good news is they're already working on a lot of the stuff that I really didn't like about Gutenberg that I think needs to be addressed. And one of the biggest issues to me, which I've talked about in several other videos, is their mobile responsiveness. Gutenberg has never been something that is very mobile responsive, and Kadence has already started crushing this with Gutenberg. And I just think it's one of those things where them doing this is just going to make everything better. So, for example, if we took two columns and we added some images to them, you'll see that that Gutenberg in itself is let's grab some. As you can see, I was photographing some stuff that's here. Let's grab this. This is Groot. We were photographing some stuff to put on eBay, so that's why this is up here. But let's grab some more images. Let's grab some more Marvel characters, and we're gonna put this on, and we're gonna see how it acts in this. So we're gonna save this. Let's call this test page. And this is just straight, this isn't even Kadence. So this is why I want to show you why this is. So if you go to preview, you get these little tabs. Well, one of the things I had issues with is when you go to mobile, now it's working good here, but when you go to mobile, in most cases, this doesn't actually show what the mobile page looks like. And as a matter of fact, if we really wanted to go to mobile and we really wanted to test it, the way we would have to test it with most block builders is to go to this page and then go to something like Chrome Inspector or Developer Tools, and then clearly set the page to this. And then you can kind of see what it looks like. So as you can see, this page isn't even really, like just looking at it, it isn't even really what they said that this was. And I reached out to them and I said, so you can see we have a gap here, just to showing you some of the problems. But there's also other things. You're not seeing the background. You're not seeing any of that, which you clearly get that with this. So we can see these images are closer together on the mobile view, and just everything is collapsing and everything. So I reached out to the guys behind Kadence, and probably women, and I said, hey, look, this is a problem. And they reached back out to me and they said, look, we already know, we're working on it. Because essentially Gutenberg has been, or not Gutenberg, but WordPress themselves have been dragging their feet on this preview panel. And I think that in order for Gutenberg to advance as a builder, you've got to get this to where it works correctly. If it doesn't work correctly, then you've got an issue. And I think that this is one of the biggest problems with Gutenberg. If you're taking and you're looking at it, this is an issue. This is a problem when you're trying to go in here and you're trying to do something to make sure that it's mobile specific, and it's not specific. So anyway, long story short, they are in fact working on it, and I thought that was a great thing. So that's one of the things that I found about Kadence over the other block builders that I really like. They have an idea of what they want to do, and they're working on it. So that's awesome. A lot of the other block builders that are out there, and not all of them, I mean, specifically if we're going through, I think Stackable's done a good job of keeping their stuff up to date. Quibbly, they push updates out every now and then, but I'm going to talk about all that later and why I think Kadence is over them overall, in my general opinion. That's my opinion. Some people are going to say Generate Press or some other block builders out there are probably better. So when you get to Kadence, the row menu, which is this, is actually the best friend of you. So you can see there's a lot of pre-set up selectors on here. This is what makes it great for building pages. You've already got a layout that you can basically go through, and you can pick whatever layout you want. And they basically have almost every layout you can think of. I like this because if you're actually playing with the columns between columns, you'll notice, yes, you can kind of go in and you can set this yourself. I think there's ways to actually go in here, and it's probably in the settings in the page. There's some way that you can go in here, but if you're someone who's used to page builders, you're going to say, well, I want to take and resize them like this. I want to do it like myself. I want to resize them how I want to resize them. And they work fairly well, but they're not 100%. You can't go in here and select them. You can't go in here and just, press a button. So Kadence has already kind of solved that issue, which I think is awesome. And I think the fact that they've done that is good, because I wasn't really a fan of the way columns worked, especially the columns that are just regular Gutenberg columns. But inside, if we go in here and we'll browse all to see, you'll see that they have a ton of different options for expanding the already regular Gutenberg blocks. Now, I will say that I have had to, in some occasions, match Gutenberg blocks with Kadence blocks to get the effect that I want, just because Kadence has it, but sometimes it's easier just to use a Gutenberg block for something. So, in all honesty, they have most of the things that most of your page builders would be looking at, including a modal and video pop-up, which is something that's pretty unique to the Gutenberg arena. A lot of people do not have this. They also don't have forms. There are a couple of, I think Quibbly may have a form, but to my knowledge, I believe that their form does not work very well. It surely doesn't work as well as this does. And so I've been impressed that they've actually, they've just got a ton of different options here. Even if your form building isn't in here, you could use a simple email, you could use a redirect, an auto respond, a database entry. A database entry is like the bare minimum for form, and the fact that it can do that, it just makes it so much easier because it's one less form that you would need, and it's got email settings, it's got basic check and anti-spam and all that. So my point here being that there's definitely enough advancement in this for you to do what you need to do to take and start building pages. You include the fact that their theme itself, if you have the whole entire package, has header, footer, builder in it, and you start to see that there's a much bigger chance of them taking over and wiping out something like a regular page builder, because a regular page builder is just, they're just going to suffer. Like, for instance, I can't understand like right now in today's time why anyone would use a back-end builder if they have something like this. I can't get it. I can't get behind it, because if you've got this and you've got these Kadence blocks, well, now all of a sudden you can take and you can drop in, headers, and you can have a header that has, something that is in between it. So for instance, let's say you wanted to make an advanced header, you have the option to go in here and select highlight settings, which is really cool. And you can go in here and select your highlight. So you could select which part of this header you want to highlight. This is a minor thing that most people would say, oh, well, that's not very interesting. I mean, okay, yeah, you can highlight something, but who cares? But it's interesting enough that they added it. They've given this header, the ability to have something that's a little bit different than the normal header. And that's what makes Kadence stand out a lot compared to the other builders that are out there. Gutenberg is taking the hand that it is going to be a full theme builder one day. It is going there. It's going to happen. So the more that you have more of these blocks where you have the ability to go in and do some, some crazy things where you can change header colors or change colors, just really makes everything a lot easier. And I think that when you have this, it's just something that's different. You can't do this with the normal Gutenberg block. And so they're adding in little things here and there that I think make this block builder just that much more interesting. Even their icons. So you can go in and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that if you go into the back end, you can drop your own icons in. Once again, is it revolutionary? No, it's not. It's not even close to revolutionary. But the fact that you can go in and you can drop in your own icons if you want to have your own icons just makes it all that much better. I mean, you can literally go in here and you can pick whatever icon you want. For somebody who's building a website for the first time, they're going to be looking for those type of things so that they can have all of the things they want. And there's a lot of Gutenberg builders that just don't have things like this in them. Video pop-up is something else that's really, really crazy. You can select an image in here. You can go in here and you could select your image. Like, let's say this is the image. And then you can go in here and you can actually tell it what the video is, like point it to the video URL, and you can see that it's Vimeo, VideoPress, and YouTube. Or you could even self-host. Once again, just something that's really, really unique to just this. It's just cool that they have this type of capability that you can go in here and you could have a video. So if we go to YouTube and we grab a demo video, Let's grab a demo video. Demo video. We'll see very quickly that if you grab that,
open your eyes.
And we'll mute this. And we'll paste it. And we'll update it. And let's preview. We'll preview in a new tab. And we'll change this to regular mode. Now you've got this video that plays literally in the, well, it would play, probably some reason why it won't allow it to play, but the point is that it would play in the background. All these things are really, really unique and make Kadence way more viable than I think the regular builders are. Now, some people are going to come out and they're going to say, well, I don't understand because there's a lot of other builders that are out there and they do a lot of the same things. Well, that may be true, and you may be 100% right. There's still a lot. When you're comparing Kadence to, say, something like Elementor, there's a lot of stuff that they're still missing if you're really comparing apples to apples. But you can't really compare Kadence to Elementor. People are trying to, and I think that it's going to get there eventually. It's not there yet. But the point is that they're trying to get there. They've got gradients, they've got drop shadows, they've got all this, they've got excellent background colors that you could come in here and do whatever you want to do. I mean, there's good reasons to pick Kadence right now over something like Elementor just for the speed reasons. But more than that, there's reasons to pick it just because if you're trying to build a very basic website, then it's a really good basic website to use. This can make something that's really, really basic. And if we want to, let's abandon this page altogether. And we'll go and we'll take a look at some of the pages. So you can see we've already got sample pages set up and everything like that. But let's go look at the Kadence Blocks. I think it's in appearance. They're starter templates. So the starter templates are all the templates that are built with Gutenberg or Elementor. Now, I wish there were more builders in here, but specifically, I will say one of the things that frustrated me a little bit was this is the first membership template that comes out. I hope that they fix this. I don't know that they're going to fix this, but I hope that it's in the works. I'm hoping these templates eventually make it over the Gutenberg. I know it would take a lot to customize them to get them that way, and that everything doesn't work that way. And sometimes you're just going to have to use Elementor, but I'd really, really like to see it where, you know, if you want to use this, you know, and it even tells you what blocks you need. So it uses some Kadence Pro blocks, which that's a little bit weird, and it uses Elementor. So it's using the free version of Elementor, but for me, I'd really, really like to get away from Elementor if I could. I think Kadence Blocks is much, much faster. And I'm happy with this being installed. I don't necessarily want this, and that's where I'm getting to in the long term. Like you know, some people are starting to move away from page builders. I think there's still a good reason to stick with them currently, but I think that in the long run, I think we're going to see more people start to go towards these Gutenberg block builders, especially when you're building stuff that looks so incredibly nice, like some of these. I mean, some of these their designers do a really good job with just subtle things like the little borders and things like that. You know, nothing is particularly outstanding on these blocks. Like, these are just standard blocks. They don't have a lot of stuff, but the design of them looks fantastic. Even the subtle nuances of these photos shifting in a way where they're using spacers or whatever, I think that's pretty cool. And just a line here and just little things that make this stand out and make it look like you're building a professional page. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for pages that are professional. You've got the completely transparent header up top here. You've got social icons and social navigation and all of this. I mean, it just looks professional. And then you've got some options for colors. So if you want to pick color scheme, you could pick this color scheme or this color scheme, and it'll go through and it'll specifically change it to match whatever color scheme you're using, which is just fantastic. This is the kind of stuff that people love. It helps them stand out just a tiny bit more. You want darker. You can see they did darker here. I love this. I wish there were more darker options. I think that that's really cool that it's got some light and dark. I think it should be split with some dark options, but I know that a lot of people wouldn't pick dark options, so I'll settle for this, but I think that this is really cool. I think the fonts are really cool too because you can go in and they kind of have already set font families. So you can go in and you can kind of pick which font family you want. How do you want the website to look? All of this is going to push people more towards Kadence, where you have, one lifetime price and you pay for it once. And yeah, that price is a little bit more expensive than what you're used to. Maybe it's not the Elementor price, but at the same time, when you're taking and you're looking at the price of this is not bad. $59 for something that is much, much cheaper is really, really good. As a matter of fact, it's so good that it's unlimited. It's much cheaper than Elementor would ever be, because Elementor, I think for Elementor you get one website for $59. Granted, it doesn't give you everything with the Pro theme, but even with the Pro theme, you get a lot more with it. So to me, the blocks by itself are totally worth it. If you get the Pro theme, which you get basically everything, which I think is part of Kadence, you're looking at, I think, $4.99 or something along that. They've got a discount that's going on right now, but I think with the membership price, yeah, $4.80. So you save a couple bucks. It's normally about $600. I think when you're thinking about all that together, and you're thinking about the price that you would pay for, say, something along the lines of what you normally pay for Elementor, even looking at the yearly access, this is very affordable for a graphic designer who's trying to get into the field and trying to get there and break out for themselves and build websites. And you could totally do it with this Kadence package. And that's what I think is making this so viable. I think that regardless of whether you're for Kadence or against Kadence, I think the fact that you can take and you can do this and you can import a full entire site like this and in seconds have a full website up and running is the difference between people making, and you can see I've actually already picked another website for this page, so that's why it's not loading. But this is why people are picking Kadence over maybe other builders or other pages that are kind of out there, because I think that this right here is what people are looking for. They're looking for quick and easy wins where they can throw something in front of their customer and say, here, I got something for you. And then they kind of customize those to fit whatever their customer needs. Maybe the customer doesn't want this, maybe they don't want this. And there's different things that you add to it, but the fact is that they've already got this solved. They've already figured this out. And these little small nuances of changing just little tiny things and adjusting everything little by little just to make it look so much better is where Kadence really shines, because they've really figured out, okay guys, we have to do this. We have to make our stuff look much, much better than what's out there. And I think it does. I think it definitely does. Just looking at the templates, I think it's there. The only thing that I would argue that they need some help on, and it's one of the downsides, but it's a downside nonetheless, is if you go into the pre-built library. This pre-built library is pretty good, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's as high level as some of the other library items I see in other builders and page builders and all of that. A lot of this is really pretty plain, but I get it. Maybe it's because it's not connected to a page or whatever, and you could still build something using this, but some of this just doesn't. Some of it looks great, and some of it looks like, really? Like some of it's just not, it's not there. At least it's not there for me. It doesn't look as fine-tuned as their starter packs do. Some of their starter packs they look much, much better than this. And I'm hoping that this is going to get an update. I believe it will get an update, but, this is just not my favorite. but once again, that's just my personal opinion. You can feel free to take it or leave it however you want to. I will say that in the future, I am planning a whole video series that will be coming out shortly, probably after this one, where we're going to go over the basics of Kadence blocks, and we're going to build something with them. So it'll be kind of like a beginner series where we'll be going over how we build a page and what we do. So if you're one of those people who's struggling with Kadence, maybe you're looking for a little bit more help and you're trying to figure out if there's something that you're doing wrong or maybe something whatever, hopefully that'll help out. That will fall under the Page Builder Academy portion, and we'll have that set in there. All right, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I tried to keep it as simple as possible and just give you my feelings. I mean, for me, Kadence is definitely, at least today and the way I see it, it's a good buy. It's not a bad buy for their plugins. I like the Kadence block builder. I think it's a great purchase. I don't think it's a terrible purchase if you're going to build it. The blocks are just, they're on the next level for other block builders. And some of the other block builders out there, like I was saying, there's things that I just don't like about them, and I don't want to down on another block builder and tell them. But one of the things that, I can't get behind with other block builders is if you start going in your block builder specifically and you notice that they're using CSS to get some of the effects that are on their pages, then that tells you that that block builder is incomplete, because it should have a widget or something that's in there that you could adjust so that in order for you to have drop shadows or whatever, you shouldn't be using CSS to do that. And I've seen that on a lot of block builders, and I don't want to point any of them out because I'm sure they know who they are, but some of them are very unresponsive. There's a lot of them that don't respond to comments or anything in their Facebook groups. And Kadence has been one of the block builders that will actually come out and they will actually say specifically, hey, we understand what you're going through. Here's how you solve this in here. So I can't really argue with Kadence. They've done a good job with doing stuff like that. And I think that they've made it a lot easier to be someone who is a designer and wants to have something that looks nice. And so for me, it's a win. I think it's a good builder. It's up to you to make that decision how you want to do it, but either way, it's a win for me. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't go too deep into it or whatever, but once again, I think Kadence is a win, so you would not do badly today by purchasing them and starting to play with the block builder. I think it's going to get there, and I think it's only going to get there with time. And once time gets in, I think we'll be good. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time.